we'll have this discussion.
Discussion? What discussion?
This is a discussion combustion.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado.
This is Discussion Combustion Podcast with your hosts, Kevin Batstone and Arthur Raw.
You know, that's just the way it goes.
He leans on me in that kind of way. It's okay.
He's my safety net.
Yeah.
He provides me with emotional support.
There you go.
I do.
Are we recording?
Yes.
Today's episode is brought to you by Loco Plus. That's right, guys. Loco Plus, the local content creation. We have a showcase event that we're announcing. We're so excited for this, guys. March 11th. March 11th, we're going to be down there at the X Denver. Tickets will be on sale soon for the first ever live Discussion Combustion podcast, episode 200. I'm stoked, Art.
Y'all got to be there. It's going to pop off like as if you were making popcorn for your favorite movie. It's going to be delicious, buttery, and bring the biscuit because we're cooking it up, and it's going to be so much fun to interact with everybody live action. Looking forward to that so much, and I'm happy you brought it in the episode with that, Kev.
Well, we've been teasing a little bit, for our viewers and listeners. They're like, what are these guys talking about? It's official. We can talk about it. So put it on your calendars.
March 11th.
March 11th,
4 to 8
Saturday.
p.m.
Saturday, March 11th, 4 to 8 p.m. We're going to have a lot of fun. Nisha and I say it twice. The Queen from Atlanta is going to be there. Just an incredible showcase. More to come on that. But we gotta take care of business. Episode 194. Here we go.
And we have an amazing guest. We have Katie in here tonight, and we met online, connecting. You're out there being an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. You are doing real estate. You have a dedicated, you're dedicated in life to your job, to your health. So what an amazing guest, and we're really happy to have you in here.
So happy to be here. Excited and nervous all at the same time. I love it.
Yeah, and we're going to get to know you. We're going to get to know you. We got to know you a little bit before the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was fun. There were some good behind-the-scenes stories there that we may or may not go into. We'll see. We don't know how this thing's going to go yet. But we're here to have fun. So thanks again for driving down and spending some time with us.
Happy to be here. Mm-hmm.
So it's a shame that you can't share a cold beer with us.
I'm training for a fitness competition, so I have to really minimize alcohol. I crave it a little bit, but at the same time, I am putting forth all this energy, money, and effort into results that hopefully will be here in 5-6 months. So it's, so
this
that
is like a half a year thing.
I signed up
Wow.
for 6 months. So hopefully the competition should be July 8th in Dallas. If I can, pull it together, which I think I'm doing great so far. I'm 6 weeks in of 24 weeks of training. So that one seltzer, that one glass of wine, it's not worth it when I can look at the end and see my results.
That's
Good
true.
for you. That's terrific. Where in Dallas is it going to be?
Okay. So I don't know anything. It's like IFBB. I don't know anything about the training just yet. So we haven't gotten there yet. We've just been, we started the food plan and then we started the workouts. And so I'm tightening up and I'm losing weight, which is ideal for, what the results are going to be. So don't know anything about posing yet. And I don't know anything about the actual competitions.
You're just dialing it in.
Yep, exactly.
First month in.
So what would you say are some of the daily, because it's like a daily battle, right?
Yes.
You don't just pick to do this and then all of a sudden you're good.
No.
You have to keep. So what are some a couple moments that you can describe where you wanted to have a weak moment, you wanted to, but then you fought that urge? What does that look like? I
had a game night with some girlfriends and they're like, okay, I'll make you a margarita, and I was like, no, I'm not drinking, and they're like, no, just one, it's fine, and it's like. No, it's really, I don't want it. Later in the year of last year, I indulged 3 days in a row, celebrate my birthday, had a great time. And it's like, okay, the light switch kind of went off. And it's like, okay, I'm ready to start this journey. We were kind of talking earlier about, I asked the question of who should be my trainer, because I hired a trainer that I have weekly check-ins with. And I hired this trainer for a reason, and I'm paying this money for a reason. It's not worth it. The end result is worth it. So I've always had it in the back of my mind to do this competition, so just got to do it.
So since you were 11?
Oh gosh, no. No, and I've lifted weights. That's kind of my passion ever since I think junior high. I was in CrossFit for 4 or 5 years, and that has a fair amount of discipline. But what I like, because I was an event planner for a catering company for a while. That was my absolute dream job. I got to work with people, galas, fundraisers, birthday parties, you name it. The biggest event I think I threw was 450 people.
Oh, wow.
And it was a 3-course meal. It was amazing. It was for Food Bank of the Rockies here in Colorado. So
That's great.
It was their annual gala. It was the last year that Joe Sakic was part of Food Bank of the Rockies. So that was pretty badass. And I'm type A, and I'm always planning. And so when I go to the gym, I want someone to tell me what to do. Mm-hmm. I don't want to have to master that too. I need some sort of kind of calm, you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Have someone else take the reins a little bit. So CrossFit was awesome because I could show up to the gym. This is the workout today. This is what we're doing. And I saw results from it. But CrossFit, the body for it wasn't really what I was desiring anymore. And then 2020 hit, COVID, and all the gyms, everything shut down. Mm-hmm. They're still trying to charge their monthly fee, $160. It's not cheap for someone who was just laid off too. And so I couldn't afford that. And I was like, I got to find a different kind of passion or a different way to still lift weights and still, I hate cardio more than anything. So to still do what I love doing.
So is walking considered to be cardio?
No, but you don't get places very fast,
like,
you know?
Yeah, like, because I'll do like 4 miles in an hour if I'm really
You
cruising.
do a lot of walking.
That's 15-minute mile. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like if you have the right tunes on though, and like that divine stride.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah.
When you got the right music.
But is that cardio?
I mean, it wouldn't be considered for the specific program I'm on right now. They want me 4 days a week on the stair stepper.
How many levels do you do?
She said level 6, if that means anything to anybody.
Is that like 6 stories?
What's the highest level?
Oh gosh, it can go up. You can run up the stairs if you want to.
Yeah.
That's like a good pace to be at.
So level 6 is not a measurement of necessarily distance. It's the difficulty or speed?
Yeah, the speed. It's the speed.
Speed. Okay.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know how many steps per minute that is. It might be 20 steps per minute.
Wow.
I'm guessing on that one, but sweating, my face gets red and splotchy from that.
Wow.
And so, I mean, that gets your heart rate up, and that's what they're looking for. So, but luckily through this program, once I drop enough weight, they'll take out the cardio. Yes.
So that's what you're working for.
Yes.
That's why no Bud Lights tonight.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And
I'm a
thanks, Bud
seltzer
Light.
girl or tequila, actually. But
That's right. We talk about the ranch waters, things of that nature.
yeah, might be the first thing. I've already decided Crumble cookies is probably going to be the first thing that I have.
Crumble cookies.
Crumble. Have you heard of Crumble?
Like, is that the name of the brand?
Oh,
Brand
okay,
name?
so you haven't. Yeah, they're
I have not. I don't
Please
think I've had a
enlighten us.
Crumble.
they're like 4 or 5 inch round cookies, and they come out with a new flavor every single Sunday. I was so passionate about this. I have a list on my phone of all the flavors that I've tried, and it's like at 112.
Are you keeping?
How many flavors of
like,
cookies are there?
Like 112.
So you
Well, if they do one every Sunday,
So
Then
they
it's
do.
infinite.
then it's
So
52 a year.
They always have 6 flavors every
Okay.
single time.
Wow.
And they have their staples of chocolate chip. It's like semi-sweet and milk chocolate chips. It's beautiful. And then they do a sugar cookie with a little bit of almond extract or whatever. But those 2 are the consistents every
Okay.
single week. And then they have 4 rotating flavors.
Okay.
So they'll do different themes. So one week they had a circus theme. So it was like a cotton candy kind of cookie, and they do like a signature kind of swirl on top if it has frosting on it. They did like an apple pie type of thing, whatever you find at
That
the
sounds
circus.
good, though.
So
That sounds good.
yeah, it's
That was like the greatest ad read for Crumble cookies I've ever heard.
seriously. Every single week I would get it. They do 4 packs, so you can get the 4 fun flavors that week. So I'd get together with a girlfriend, and we were counting our macros, our protein, fat, carbs. If you don't know what macros are, but we would cut the cookies in eighths. Try 1/8 of each cookie, so it equaled 1/2, and then we would work it into our macros that week.
Did you use a
Wow.
pizza cutter?
A knife.
Okay.
But
'Cause
Crumble.
I think a pizza cutter would have been real fun.
I don't know about that.
Cutting a cookie?
I don't think it would work. I mean, is it a super crunchy? Is it a soft or crunchy?
It's a crumble cookie.
So with the frosting, they're a good 3/4 of an inch thick.
Now,
Do
is
they-
it a crunchy cookie or does it truly crumble?
It depends. So, well, cookies crumble, right? You know, like
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
depends on the type of cookie. So during like Thanksgiving week, they'll do different types of like pie, or actually for the month of November, they'll do like a pumpkin pie one week, an apple pie, pecan pie. That one is super good because it's like a shortbread crust. I love food.
Goodness.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I do too.
but yeah, I started to keep track of the flavors that I've had.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where do I get
Nerd.
these?
Crumble.
Just like
Centennial has I know
Okay.
the locations too. This is terrible.
So Centennial would probably work. Okay.
Yep. And they're not terribly expensive. It's a good gift to so you're going to have me on again because then I'll bring Crumble.
Perfect.
For sure.
But yeah, there's a location in Centennial. There's one in Edgewater Public Market, Colorado Mills Mall, Thornton. I know. Yeah. So we had fun with it.
The
Okay.
Edgewater Market is a cool spot.
It's the collective eatery style. Yeah. Have you heard it called that before?
The collective eatery style.
Yeah, so it's like Milk Market
Yeah.
or Stanley Marketplace where you can bring a group of people if you want to, and you can go to these different restaurants. Each get something different, but you're all still together.
Yeah.
So you're not going to like a one restaurant. You're going to like
sounds fun.
Like instead of calling it just like a food court.
right.
'Cause
Yeah.
That doesn't sound as cool as
does.
collective eatery.
What sounds better to you? What's more elevated?
I think food court sounds a little bit better.
Okay. Well,
Because then it's like, what's going on in here? You know?
were you the ones that stole like the lunch tray and then you went sledding? Have you ever heard of people doing that?
I don't think I've
Sledding on a lunch tray?
Yeah, so we had food courts like in college, and people would steal the lunch trays
And go sledding on them?
Yeah, because I'm from Minnesota, so there's snow
Minnesota.
everywhere. Minnesota.
Minnesota. Put the motor in the boat? Yeah. That's probably horrible, huh?
You betcha.
Yeah.
We love those tater tot hot dishes though. Like, did you? Okay, so Duck Duck Grey Duck.
What
you
is
know
that?
game, Duck Duck Goose. So everybody plays Duck Duck Goose, where you sit in a circle.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Duck,
And
duck,
you-
gray duck.
So everybody's duck, 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 goose.
And you run.
Yeah.
around, right?
Yeah.
Minnesota's the only state you do yellow duck, orange duck, red duck, gray duck, run around. Same game. We just do colors. Duck, duck, gray duck. I don't know why.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
This is a Minnesota thing?
Mm-hmm. It's that's the only thing Minnesotans. That's the only.
That's all you're known for? Is gray duck?
And the cherry and the spoon. Mall of America.
Wow. In Mall America, there's like roller coasters in there. I've never actually visited Minnesota.
Oh, really?
Are you
Epic winters.
Epic Winters?
So, fun fact: there are 7 miles of skywalk there. So all the buildings downtown Minneapolis are connected by skywalks. So then you're not outside having to walk over huge mounds of snow from the snowplows.
Wow.
That makes sense.
Yeah, my dad actually would compete with steps, and he competed with a gal that was training for a marathon, and he would get 20,000 steps a day because the typical is 10,000 or so. Well, he would take the bus to work, and then he would walk. He would get off on a earlier stop, but would just walk the skyways during lunch. A very competitive guy, and that's where I get my competitiveness.
Okay.
So, but yeah, he would walk to work, and then on his lunch break, he would do the skywalk, whatnot. But
That sounds fun.
yeah, super duper fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a good way to have some fun in getting over these massive snow mounds.
right.
I would
Yes.
definitely wear shorts in the skywalk
Yep.
and, get that nice, because you're like indoors, even though it's cold outside.
Exactly.
So you'd have to have like 2 outfits that you bring with you that day. You'd have to have one for the skywalk walk. And then
what, get changed?
and then another.
When you get through the skywalk, you would
When
change?
you're
Yeah,
ready to go
change to go to
home.
work. Wear your
Yeah.
suit and tie once you sit back at your desk.
I mean, I guess that could work.
So
If you're serious about the skywalk, you're going to throw some shorts on, I feel
I don't
like.
think I'm that serious.
but in college, so I went to University of Minnesota Duluth. They call them tunnels. That's a lie. But everything's just connected with tunnels if you live in the dorms where all the classes were. So people would be walking in flip flops and shorts to
Wow.
class and then you knew that they were like a freshman or a sophomore because
Yeah.
they lived on campus. But yeah, Duluth, Minnesota is like frigid. The lake effect
Oh, yeah.
from Lake Superior.
Yeah, lake effect snow. I like to talk weather. That's good stuff.
No,
so Duluth
he's the chief meteorologist
Oh,
of
are you?
Discussion
Okay.
Combustion.
of
yes.
Happy Friday.
Well, both.
Oh yeah, I guess I am on both, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the chief meteorologist. So very confidently. So Duluth, is that where the Duluth Trading Company, are they out of
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
So free plug for them. I'm wearing your underwear right now,
Right, meow.
and they're very, very comfortable. So I
Photo
didn't.
or it didn't happen. Just
Well,
kidding.
That's DCPC After Hours, and you can tune into Patreon for that.
There you go.
So-
There's a plug for that.
But great stuff. So you talk about Type A, right? That's kind of how I've heard this a couple times now. What does that exactly mean to you? How do you interpret that?
Very organized. I love color coding. Like just articulate. I do my best to articulate. Sometimes my brain acts a little faster than my mouth does, so I stutter over my words or whatnot.
I haven't seen that happen yet.
Perfect. Yeah, I have had enough coffee today, maybe. That's why. But yeah, just very organized, very on top of it. So
You
that's
like to be in control of things?
not necessarily. Like I like to know what's going on, and then I can decide if I can
that works
decide.
for you,
but
yeah.
I don't like micromanaging. I feel like I should
Being micromanaged or also micromanaging
Both.
somebody else. Yeah.
I mean, who likes to be micromanaged?
No one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I actually never wanted to be my own boss. I always wanted somebody to kind of tell me what to do, and then I can execute that. So leading into that, there was a leadership style, what do you want to call it? Test that I did. There was 9 characteristics, and my 2 were I'm inquisitive, I ask a ton of questions, and then I'm a tweaker. And people always are like, what? What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
So I thrive better if I'm given a template and then I can modify it.
Okay.
If somebody says, oh, do whatever you want. So I bake cakes for fun. Well, it's a side business, but if someone says like, decorate the cake however you want, I am just like, there's so many possibilities. My brain just shuts down. So if I'm given a template, or like for a work day, if I'm given, you need to do these tasks, I thrive and I can really excel at that. So it's been an interesting thing working for myself for since 2020, because I'm my own boss. So I'm the one that needs to kick my own ass into getting things done, if that makes sense.
It does.
So,
It does.
It's a challenge.
yeah.
It's fun being your own boss. It's fun. You get to make this. You can criticize yourself. You give yourself your own HR reports. You give yourself your own annual reviews. It's great. It's great. You're in the driver's seat.
I can do things in the middle of the day. I do feel guilty, but I can do things in the middle of the day. But I'm going to make up for it at night, if you will.
You still get your work done.
Yeah.
But you're just creating a better work-life balance for yourself. So it's not like, because I think it's unhealthy. Like if you're checking in and you have to like grind for 4 hours and you can't get up or stretch your legs or enjoy a little bit of your day. It's all about a nice balance in life.
I was working in the hotel world for a little bit, and I've been in customer service since I was 16. So that's something I definitely know. I love creating connections with people and making a difference, providing value in any way. But anyway, holidays were coming up, and I asked my boss. I was working at the Hilton Seattle Hotel, downtown Seattle. I was there I was in Seattle for 2.5 years, at this hotel for maybe 9 months to a year.
Okay.
And I asked, I said, hey, I want to go home for Christmas and want to go home for like 4 days. I always felt guilty leaving my clients, leaving like that area, because I care, and I'm not trying to be egotistical, but I care so much that I don't want somebody else to take care of them. Like,
Yeah.
this is my responsibility type of thing. And I asked him, hey, can I have this time off? And he's like, well, let me think about it, because these other people have asked for this time off too. And I'm just like, what? You're not going to let me go home for Christmas? Like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
so that was kind of a rude awakening of just like, maybe I do need to do something or find a different work-life kind of balance. More of a community that supports going home for Christmas. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just kind of bizarre.
Yeah, centric family time. Very important. You got to have it, especially around the holidays. And, the biggest, one of my biggest goals, I've said this many times, is to be able to control my time and money. And how do we do that? Well, you got to draw a roadmap a little bit. So you find out what you want by finding out what you don't want. You tried that. I mean, I was in the grocery business for a long time, and I knew I didn't want to do that. So it was like, we got to make a change here. We got to tighten up.
Yep.
Right? We're not a manager of our life. We're a creator. It's up to us.
Well, and it's all about enjoying your time. Like if you can enjoy, like let's say you work for somebody else and you enjoy that. Like I have a day job, but I thoroughly enjoy it. I have a good work-life balance. And it's really about, for me, it's a mentality of being productive. And that is beyond work. That's beyond my work schedule. That's beyond the podcast schedule. That bleeds into the weekends. Just being productive. And like, what's that mean to me personally? Like what would that mean to you personally? Or, but as long as you're staying productive and doing something that it creates meaning in your day, then you're going to enjoy your life a lot. And so like I got out of the work mentality. Like I haven't worked in close to a year. Like I really don't feel like I've worked.
I feel the same way.
But I've been,
It's not a great
I've been
feeling. Yeah.
super fucking productive though.
That's where we all want to be. That's where
Yeah.
everyone wants to land, But some people say, hey, look, I love corporate America. I like the PTO and the structured time and all that. And that's all well and good. But for the type A's, I guess. Here,
Yeah. Well, and it was interesting because you said productive. And this is one thing that I think I do a Motivational Monday post. So I found a quote that I really like. And then I say what it means to me and how hopefully somebody could apply it if they care to read that. And so every single Monday you can guarantee that I'm going to be posting some sort of motivational thing. And there's a lot of people that say, oh, I've just been so busy. I'm so busy. Oh, sorry, I didn't call you back. I'm busy. And I'm just like, okay, well, if you replace that with, I didn't make you a priority, that's one thing. That was actually wasn't my point, but it was, are you being busy or are you being productive? And so there's a difference, because you can do busy work all day long and not get anything done. And so that resonated with me when you're just like, I'm productive. It's just like, I like that a lot.
It's a simple mind change, a mindset change that really creates a different realm of life experience. And I'm all about that. Like, I love psychology. I love to figure out if I change my thought process on this, these steps just a little bit, then how's that going to change how I look at the process? Like, it's forever critiquing, right? So it's fun to be analytical, but you also have to do it in a way that is positive, because it's easy to be negatively analytical as well, where you're looking at yourself like, oh, I'm not doing good enough here, or and you're being critical about yourself in a negative way. So you have to really find that balance of, how am I going to be productive? What does that mean to me? What makes me feel fulfilled? Am I chasing those things? And within that, and if you're doing that and appreciating it as it's happening, then that's where like happiness is in the present. Like, life is living in this moment right now. Like, the three of us at this table, this is living right now. And whoever's listening, whenever you're listening in, this is living for you right now as well. And we have to enjoy the present. It's super important.
So true, man. I mean, I know I sound like I'm beating a dead horse here. I say this a lot every week on this program, but what do I say, Art? People will do more to avoid pain than they will to gain pleasure. And that's just kind of a natural, that's good enough, complacent mindset. And that's great. It works for some people. It doesn't work for others. And that can mean a lot of things for a lot of different people. Repetition is the mother of skill. At the end of the day, the more times we do it, the better we get, the more focused we are, right? So, we encourage everybody to find what your passion is, right? Something that gets you excited, whatever that is, and just focus on it. Where focus goes, energy flows.
Well, I know this is going to resonate with you, Katie, because like sometimes the things that you want to chase that make you happy is not the easy thing to chase, right? Like it's going to be difficult, like cutting out alcohol, carbs, and you love to bake cakes, but you can't eat the cake.
Okay, I don't like cake. I don't
you
actually.
You just like to bake them.
I just like the decorating part of it.
Oh,
so
okay.
I know that it tastes good, and I had a roommate. Her name was also Katie. So I'm tall Katie. She's short Katie. She's about 5'4". I'm almost 5'10". And so we don't even say Katie anymore. It's just tall and short. She actually went to what is it, pastry school. Baking school.
Oh, like Johnson and Wales University or whatever it is?
I don't know where exactly, but she wanted to be a pastry chef.
That's true.
But then realized that the pay for it was just absolute garbage. So, but she went through all that training. She knows what tastes good. And so I would have her taste my bakes, because I'm just like, I don't like the texture of cake personally.
Yeah, it's dry.
Well, not, I have two recipes. One's vanilla, one's chocolate. And they're killer.
Are they moist?
Yes. Is that a word that you're looking at me funny? Did you use that word on purpose?
Yeah, because a lot of people get like, I don't like that word.
That's a trigger word.
Is it technically an onomatopoeia? Not to get off topic here, but is that an onomatopoeia?
Isn't
moist?
that pow, bam? Isn't that
Yeah, bang, boom.
Well, how is moist?
Well, because
No, squish.
Squish. I don't know what the hell's going on, but moist gets a lot of people upset. So
it does, yeah. And it'd be funny to see Instagram like bleep it out, because it bleeps out swear words.
Yes.
If it would bleep out the word moist.
No, but honestly,
we'll have to find out. This might be the promo.
You'd want like a moist cake though, right?
Yes.
Well, yeah,
Like,
because you don't want it dry.
Yeah, and like you don't call a cake juicy. Like, what do you call a cake then? Like
Moist, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that word. So, but there's techniques to make it moist and whatnot with simple syrup, and we could do a whole podcast on just baking and all the tips and tricks.
so you
Cake bakes with Katie?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's
Cake
Cake Boss.
Cake Boss.
Or sorry,
okay.
Kate Boss.
Oh,
My nickname is Kate Boss. 'Cause
Kate Boss?
Kate
Cake.
Boss.
Kate. Okay, I see what's going on here.
Kate Boss.
So
Cake's by
I like to play on words like that too.
Yeah.
So one of my friends, I nicknamed him Schwinn.
Oh, Schwinn.
And his name is Josh.
He
His full name is Joshua.
Okay.
And so Joshua, Shawa, Schwinn.
Okay.
So it's like a play on words. It's fun.
I was waiting for you to say something about a Schwinn bicycle.
Oh, wow.
What is that?
Or like Sweeney Todd, maybe?
Isn't Schwinn's a brand, a bike?
Like
Isn't
Oh, it
Mongoose.
is, okay.
Like Mongoose. Isn't Mongoose a brand? of
I don't,
bikes?
Mongoose is a coffee shop.
I think Mongoose does BMX bikes.
I wouldn't take anything that we're saying here for a lot of value. We're just kind of bullshitting.
Look, Discussion Combustion is full of opinions, and if you want to see any of these through, then that's going to be a fun existence.
It is.
Ideas to Google on your own.
Yes.
It gets people
These
thinking.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Mongoose is a bike, though.
Okay.
I think I had a Mongoose when I was a kid.
Okay. It sounds fun.
Yeah, I used to put the cards on the spokes, and it would sound like a
my
dirt
gosh.
bike.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's living. That's living in the 90s.
Yeah.
I-
Isn't with a clothespin
Is it a clothespin?
Yeah.
that you would
Yeah.
with the card?
Yeah.
Why do I know
How
that?
do you hold the card
Or
on?
you tape
have
it
to-
onto the spoke.
Oh, it's a tape.
It was the little kids' carnivals that they would put the cards, like, we made, you remember, okay, Price is Right. Of course, everyone knows Price is Right.
Epic.
So we made our own Price is Right game show in Kid Stop. It's daycare,
Okay.
essentially. And so we took an old bike tire, or it was a perfectly fine bike tire, but put a card on it with a clothespin and then did kind of the wheel.
Okay.
yeah.
The, whatever that giant wheel
The
is
spinning
called.
wheel.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so we did that with cards, and that's why that popped in my head. So random.
Price is Right is still an epic show. I mean,
10 a.m.
yeah.
every day.
Yeah, I mean, that when I'd always convince Mom to let me stay home because I was sick, just didn't want to go to school. What would I watch? The Price is Right.
Would you just watch that one show?
I'd probably watch that, and then let's see, Blue's Clues was another one because I don't know if that makes me old to say that, but
I liked Clifford, the cartoon Clifford,
Big
the
Red Dog. I read the books. I don't know if I watched it.
Okay.
What
It
was-
was John Ritter was the voice of Clifford.
John Ritter.
Yeah, he was
Right.
on Three's Company, which I never watched, but I know he was on it. And then he did his own, according to Jim. Wait, maybe.
I'm not too sure.
Okay.
90 shows, best 90 show, go.
Saved by the Bell?
I'm going to go Wonder Years.
I've never heard of that.
You never heard of the Wonder Years?
No,
Seriously?
no.
I mean, that's not a 90s show, though, Art.
Is it?
No, no.
Isn't
that-
it?
He's disqualified.
That's when I watched it.
That's a 70s
That's when I
show.
watched it.
No, maybe 80s.
That's when I watched
I'm gonna
it. I
have to fact
watched
check
it in
that.
the 90s.
The Wonder Years
All right.
was what's the actor's name?
You tell us, Lori. I know you're gonna comment.
Oh, there's people
on this.
screaming at their TV
Yeah.
right now watching us like these guys are idiots. But that wasn't a 90s show. And correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Viewers.
We're about to find out.
I
After,
could say
after.
Saved by the Bell is a 2020 show because I watched
They
it in
remade it.
2020.
That's okay.
They
That's
remade
fair.
it?
Did they?
No,
I
I'm
just
saying
wouldn't be
I
surprised
watched
if they
it.
did.
Let's just say I watched it yesterday. It's my favorite 2020 show. That's what you're saying about
Okay.
Wonder Years.
Yeah. No. Yes.
Invalid
I'm
response.
following.
Try
what,
again.
I'm following what you're saying.
That was a good sales tactic there. I see what's going on
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Get this real estate closing agent stuff across from the table. No. Okay. So best. You go.
Best
Kev.
90s show.
Yeah. What's your favorite?
Doug.
Doug.
Oh, jeez. Skeeter. Yeah.
Roger Klotz, Patty Mayonnaise, Skeeter Valentine, and Doug Funny.
Okay. So I don't know. Maybe Thundercats. Is that from the 80s?
That I don't know.
Thunder, 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 thunder.
We're all about the
cats.
same
Is
age,
that a
right?
band? I don't know. Thundercats either. You're throwing all sorts.
Yeah. How about?
Will and Grace? Were they 90s?
Will and
Friends.
Grace. Oh, Friends. That might be the
1994
winner.
is when they started.
That
I've
might
I've only
Okay.
seen it, the whole thing, about 6 times.
Seinfeld,
So I wasn't a Seinfeld person until probably last year or 2 years ago.
King of Queens.
No.
Was that 90s though?
Yeah, King of Queens started in 97
Did it? Okay.
or 98.
That's a cartoon.
Can I just say?
No,
can,
King-
can I
no,
just
no.
say Tupac?
That's a musician. So, King of Queens, if you haven't seen it, it's on Peacock.
I have seen it.
Leah Remini and Kevin James.
Yes, I didn't
Fantastic.
watch it. Okay.
Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Everyone Loves Raymond. That was another good one.
I watched that one.
Yeah, he was good. Ray Romano. Yeah.
I mean, 90s shows are fun and all. I am really into documentaries though, and
Let's talk documentaries.
like what kind of documentaries were out in the 90s that got blown away? No, the one that blew all the other documentaries away was Planet Earth when that first dropped.
I can't
When
argue
that first dropped, and then Planet Earth 2 came out, and they
Epic.
had that scene where the iguana
Epic.
was like running out, and like all these snakes were chasing the iguana.
I'll have to put it on my list to watch. I haven't seen
Documentaries.
it.
Let me guess. True crime.
You're actually pretty good. It's not necessarily a documentary. Forensic Files.
Oh, friends. Oh,
My
my
Peter
ex-girlfriend loved
Thomas,
it.
The Voice. Like, I actually watched it so much. My college boyfriend said, "You watch this so much, you're going to be on it someday." And I was like, "Goals."
Goals.
Like, thanks. I'll be murdered. Like,
Do you love the
okay.
true crime
No,
stuff?
you
I
did
do.
the
All right.
murdering. You did. The
We
murdering.
don't know that yet.
You learned the ways. Well, no one will
Oh
ever
yeah,
know.
of course I learned the ways.
No one will ever
Let's
know.
talk some true crime.
Please.
So my ex-girlfriend just loved it, and she the first one I actually paid attention to was Making a Murderer.
Yes.
about the Stephen
Yep.
Avery case, and I became obsessed.
Well,
I needed to know all the information. There wasn't enough in the documentary for me. I wasn't satisfied.
Yeah.
I did my own research. I watched the entire 3.5-hour tape with Brendan Dassey
Did
being
you really?
interrogated.
Oh my
I needed
gosh.
to know what was going on.
Yeah.
Because I still could not develop an opinion if I thought these guys were innocent or not. Are they innocent?
I didn't watch the 3.5 hours, so I actually want to turn that question back to you and say, what does the public think that if they were to have watched that, they would be enlightened?
Well, I think that's, the Brendan Dassey interrogation
Yeah.
when he was in there, and he eventually just said, yeah, I did it and got it from this book. And it was a complete bullshit, coerced confession. There's no question about it.
Totally.
And he does say some shit in the 3.5 hour, video that I saw that did not get published in Making a Murder. However, I still don't think that definitely Brendan Dassey's innocent. I really do believe that. Stephen Avery, could he have done it? Maybe. But I don't mean to demean his intelligence, because rednecks are some of my favorite people to hang out with. But I just don't think he could have. He was not intelligent enough to pull it off.
Right.
Right?
And I feel like some of the, and I haven't seen it in a long time, but I feel like some of the evidence was covered up. I feel like the cops, they cornered him. They forced him to say it because it's the way you say it too. But he was, I don't want to offend anyone, he was slow, right? Or he had autism?
He had some challenges. Yeah.
Challenges, okay.
This was the kid that he was like 15, 16 or something, right?
He's the same age as me. So when he was going through this, I was his age. He was like 16 at the time. This was like
I feel like
05.
I saw this, and as
You
I was
definitely saw
watching
Making a
it,
Murderer.
I was like, this is messed up. Like the way the lining of questioning is just so
It was coarse.
assumptive. Yeah.
The way
Like,
that
what do you
they
do?
so the way that they asked the question though was, well, we found her. I'm making this up because I don't remember exactly, but we found her fanny pack in the trunk. Like, did you put your fanny pack there? So they planted a seed, and then they would ask him a question a little bit later, so he's remembering the seed they planted, not what actually happened.
Right.
And so there was a lot of techniques like that were just.
It just wasn't
a little
right.
scam.
It
Right.
just wasn't right. His mother wasn't there.
Now, I'm the type of person where I see it from multiple angles. It's tricky to see it from this angle, but not the other, and then make the decision of who done it.
Sure.
And so it's like I'd be interested to see the police side documentary, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah, I'm going to go on record, and I'm going to say it was Bobby Dassey that did it.
okay.
I really do. I think Bobby Dassey was the one that killed Teresa Hallback. That's my final conclusion after years of research. I have no evidence to support that. That's just my gut feeling.
Okay.
Based on the cell towers, based on where he was, and the way that Bobby Dassey was one of the only ones in the family that did not defend his brother. He, in the search history that was on his computer, was gnarly. So that's what I'm going to take on that one.
I need to refresh my. I'm so surprised that you know first and last name for all the characters and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I want to rewatch it.
Full send.
Because, yeah.
Full send.
He's thorough.
Yeah, I love it. There's one that sticks out for me for Forensic Files, and so my parents loved CSI Las Vegas, not Miami or New York, the original CSI Las Vegas, and so I watch Forensic Files like crazy. There was a case where this woman was found drowned in a bathtub, and it was in a hotel, and what happened was the husband, he said, I'm going to draw you a bath before I go for my run. And then went downstairs and touched base with the lobby person, touched base with the doorman. I'm just going to go for a 45-minute run, like telling everybody he's doing this. Comes back, and she had drowned in the bathtub. The towel bar, or the towel ring, was pulled off the wall. And they decided that it was an accident, that she tried
This
to
is a true story.
catch her. Yeah, so that part's the true story. And I actually said it in reverse because I saw the CSI first and then the Forensic Files, but regardless. So the towel bar had been pulled off. So originally they're like, she slipped, hit her head, drowned. Wow. That's what they decided. Well, then 2 weeks later, he's buying a sports car. He's dating all these pretty women. And so for whatever reason, and I actually, I remember the CSIs, they dug up her body and found a bruised handprint on her face. Like she was held down. It wasn't an accident. They also did a test where for the towel bar, they realized it needed to be pulled at an upward angle, 45-degree angle. This gal is like 110 pounds. He weighs, I don't know, close to 200. The amount of force that would be needed to pull upward, she couldn't do it. She's too small. And so after they had deemed it as an accident, they went back and they actually tried him, and he got he got
So this
convicted.
guy drowned his wife
Yeah, because
and then went on a run. And
Happens all the time.
it's to cover. It's his alibi.
Why not just leave the relationship? Like, look, I understand money can be like a major stress, but to take somebody else's life because they might take half of your money, like that's not right.
No.
Absolutely terrible.
Yeah, but the so I saw a CSI, and of course they always glorify it in CSI. They make it just like Grey's Anatomy. The cases that they have on like Grey's Anatomy, one was a 4x4 had gone through two people, and they were literally face to face with each other. There was like a train derailment. They were both alive, but they could really only save one person. That stuff happens, but the chances of it happening are so minimal.
Yeah.
And so anyway, CSI, same thing. You know, they don't see those types of murders all the time.
Sure.
But it was the fact that they caught him. Like that was just, I don't know. It was cool how it all laid out, and for some reason it just makes me excited.
Well, it's like putting together a puzzle or something,
It's
right?
a mystery, right?
Yeah.
Mystery is fun. Mystery breeds obsession.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's like, how did it happen? What's going on here? Chris Watts, I'll go on record to say, is the biggest piece of shit
Okay.
who's ever walked this earth.
Remind me who Chris Watts is.
He was the one that killed his two daughters and stuffed them in the oil drums.
Oh my gosh, in Colorado.
Yeah.
I did
In
watch that
Frederick.
one.
Yeah, it's so messed
Killed his
up.
wife and killed his kids. Strangled them.
What made me pissed off about that, I mean, this might be a deranged thing to think of, is he caved so damn quickly.
Oh, he
And
lasted
it's like-
3 days max.
No, I think it was less than
It was
that.
like maybe 2 days.
And I couldn't believe, like, if you went through that trouble of covering it up and then all of a sudden, oh, I did it. It's just like, yeah,
Well,
piece of shit.
He failed the lie detector test, and once that happened, it went completely off the rails. Completely off the rails. He could not survive interrogation anymore. But that story, I lost sleep over that. You know, I remember
Did
it
you
happening
really?
live action in August, but watching it back and seeing it, I'm like, how could you do that? How could you do that? He seemed like, hardworking guy, all this stuff. Family man. You could see him they were very active on social media, and then you just want to erase your whole family because you're screwing around with this other person. It's disgusting.
It's sick. It's so sick. And like little kids, like I can't, like full body chills, like I can't.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely
No.
terrible. So yeah,
It's-
we're not bringing any more attention to
It's-
Chris
I mean,
Watts.
look, I'll just go ahead and say it. It's an ugly world out there, and we all must protect ourselves at all times and have a little bit of, distrust with new friends and all this. Like whenever people try to like become too friendly too fast, I will always be like, you are gonna create trouble in my life.
Right.
So just be careful out there. But I mean, that's crazy though with like the whole family thing and like how many years of it's just
Terrible.
yeah it's
Muy terrible.
why is it like that? So the only because I kind of consider us primates, right? We're Homo sapien, but
We are. We're
primates
primate.
we're like kind of from the same thing. So chimpanzees, through these studies, they are the most violent, other than humans, out of like any other creature to their own.
That
right?
makes sense, yeah.
The chimpanzees are gnarly.
I thought the baboons were, but maybe I guess that makes sense.
Monkey species.
Yeah, monkeys.
Does that? Do they rank the different types of?
Well, yeah, like the chimpanzee is the most violent to its
Interesting.
own species.
To its own
of,
species.
of monkey.
That's what it is. I think baboons are the most aggressive though to
Yes.
others.
Yeah.
They're like their ass cheeks turn like purple.
Yeah, they're like
the baboons.
I
blue
think they're
red, and they
always
got the
like
big
that.
teeth.
No, but well, are they always?
It only turns blue and purple when they're pissed.
What?
No. No, I don't think that's accurate. It's a masculine trait within their species.
Okay.
They
Okay.
they look fluorescent to stand out to the
Yeah.
ladies. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Peacock style.
Peacock style.
So, have you seen the blue-balled monkeys?
Blue balled monkeys.
So I went to Tanzania. I went for a mission trip, and it's always been on my bucket list to do a safari as well. Luckily for this, it was with the church, my church back at home in Minnesota, and so we went for, I think it was for 10 days. We went to different villages and checked on some wells that my church had funded. There were 3 wells that, we just had to make sure that there's clean water and everything for those villages.
Okay.
And so we went on the safari, and there were blue-balled monkeys, and I kid you not, robin's egg blue balls, right where balls are located. Fascinating. Like, why? I have no idea.
Blue-balled monkeys.
Yep.
Well, if you even look at like ducks and stuff, like in the
Mallards.
and the birds and all that, yeah, like the males are more colorful.
Well, yeah. That's even in the fish world.
But then in humans, like, women wear makeup and are more colorful than men. Like, why
It is weird. We're a weird
Why
species,
is that?
humans,
We
I feel
are.
like.
Well, and it's interesting too, because where did removing hair come from? Like, why is that more feminine?
Hair removal, yeah.
I don't know, but
I'll just go on record. Like, it's okay if you let it grow out a little bit.
oh, I'm getting laser. Like,
Yeah.
I'm done with it.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. But like, look, if shaving my armpits and stuff, and like to bare skin,
Manscape.
yeah, that would be.
I own that.
It would be an issue. Like the legs alone, like that's so much area to cover. And as a man, to just shave my face, like I couldn't imagine having to do the legs
lot of
all the
maintenance.
time.
Have you ever waxed your legs? Oh, that'd be fun. We should do a little
Wax our legs?
But
just to see what it feels like.
So does hair grow in more coarse if you like shave
no.
or
I think
like
that's a myth.
just a rumor?
It's
It's
a
a
myth
myth.
because
Is
if
it?
you think about how often somebody shaves, the hair is being cut, but it's blunt, and so it might seem thicker because it doesn't have like a fine point end. But if you shave your legs for like your entire life, you don't have hair that's like the size.
It's not growing in thicker.
That's a good point. I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost like when you mow your grass and you're on your ride-on lawnmower, and you get the grass isn't going to come in thicker. You're just kind of cutting it down low to the grain, right? And then it remains the same. The follicle is going to grow back to what it was.
right.
Interesting.
So laser hair removal, I hear is painful.
It's
Have you?
yeah.
Okay.
You've done it?
Yep. Yeah, and I'm doing, so where am I? 7 weeks in for my complexion. So I'm more pale than not. 10 to 12 sessions is what will kind of get rid of it. It's not necessarily permanent. There's like a different procedure for that, but regardless, the ones you find on Groupon or at just normal salons, it would be 10 to 12 sessions. For darker skinned people like African Americans, they actually have to do more. For whatever reason, the pigmentation of their skin causes more treatments to be done.
So can you do it like if I wanted to shape my eyebrows permanently, or
really wouldn't
get
do-
rid of ear hair permanently?
I
Like
don't
things
know
like
if
that?
I've never heard of ears before but that I haven't looked. I've heard chin is a thing, chin like upper and lower, but I wouldn't do eyes. It's literally a laser. So
No, but eyebrows, not eyelashes.
I know, but it's right next to your eyes.
Dangerous.
What I'm saying, like your thinnest part of your skin is your eyelid. So I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Probably
Well,
wouldn't,
I don't know. I don't know what they do. Like, what are all the removal options?
I don't think.
So-
what would I get removed though? I don't think.
leg hair, arm hair. I mean, really whatever you wanted other than the ear hair or eyebrows. But I'm sure you could. It would just be so dangerous.
Yeah.
To lose your vision over something so small.
Well, it's
true.
over like a cosmetic advantage to be like, well, now I can't see anything.
Right.
But I guess that's a risk with a lot of things, like
Like
even LASIK. Our good buddy Craig went through it, and he said it was one of the most like scary experiences
When
he's
he
ever had.
described that,
I decided I'll never do it.
So my dad has it on VHS when he got his LASIK, and
no.
he
He was
kept
on
it so
VHS?
he can. Yeah, that's how long
That's
ago it was.
epic.
But yeah, they take off the top layer of your cornea. They like kind of peel it back. They scrape and then they put it back.
It's
and
scary.
Oh yeah, no, but he kept it because like, why wouldn't
And he has a
you?
who was recording that?
Yeah.
The doctor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
On
he
VHS.
bought. He's like, I gotta get like
I
he
think
like
he
rode a
gave it to
roller
him.
coaster, and he's like, look, I need to get evidence of that. I need proof.
Apparently, I think he finds it fascinating, just like
Yeah.
I do. I think that my dad is also very inquisitive and asks a lot of questions because once you have that knowledge, then you can teach other people. And I think that that's really powerful, and it uplifts me to help other people, and that kind of.
So kind of pivoting here, how long have you been putting positive thought out via social media and out to the world? Because I love that you do that,
Thank you.
and the world needs that. How long have you been doing that for?
So I'd say since 2020. So what I watched a podcast, not watched, I listened to a podcast. I think it was Joshua Smith's GSD mode, Get Shit Done.
Okay.
And I think it was him, but interviewed whoever it was. They interviewed Stevie Hahn, and she is a real estate agent in Jacksonville, Florida. And I've looked up to her for my entire real estate career because she can just be on camera and she's so natural at it. She doesn't stutter. She's providing value. And that's the most important thing, really, is people I'm under, so Will and Eli, I'm on the Legit Agents team, if you will, through EXP is my brokerage. And we're not like a team, like we're all individuals, but we get to learn from them because they're in our upline.
Nice.
They are really keen on you have to provide value to people. So if you do stories like on Instagram or Facebook and you're walking through an open house, no one really cares that you're walking through like Minecraft. Here's the kitchen, here's the closet. Like that's not providing value. Some people want to see that. That's cool. But
it can't be the whole, you can't, that's not all that you do.
So instead, and Will says it perfectly, he says instead of saying, or doing the tour, which you can still do a tour, but say, okay, so I'm at an open house right now. It's a super cool house. Well, and then off topic, or still on topic, but how many people that see your story on social media are going to buy that house? Nobody is. But they're going to be entertained for a hot second and then forget you because you didn't provide value. So he says, instead of saying or doing the Minecraft thing, he says, okay, here are some things that we did to prepare for the open house. We got stagers in. Here's why that's valuable. We did professional photography. Here's why that's valuable. So giving little nuggets of information to people.
Yeah.
And then that's when they remember you. That's when they're like, oh, yeah, that's a good point. So then when you come on stories next, they're like, okay, they probably have something important to say. So to go back to your point of, or your question of when did I start saying positive messages, it was really Stevie Hahn that kickstarted it because she's providing some sort of value and she's doing it a free route, which is Facebook and Instagram. I don't know if it's known, but if you're an entrepreneur or 100% commission, you need money to rely on. If you don't, like for the first 6 months or year, really, because you don't know if you're going to be successful or sell a house or get paid.
It's true.
So it's really important to have that banked and saved. And so in saying that, I didn't want to pay for marketing. I didn't want to pay to do YouTube videos, or I wanted to go the free route.
I mean, it could get so expensive so quick too.
Oh gosh.
Especially if you don't know what you're like. You didn't dabble in the creation content, and then you're just trusting somebody else to create it for you.
Exactly.
They might take advantage of you and overcharge you significantly.
So, and I started actually doing YouTube videos because I've been following Will and Eli my entire real estate career. So I was doing videos and I was with a different brokerage at the time. And I thought I was doing videos the way that I should because I was uploading them to YouTube and whatnot. But there's actually a whole algorithm that YouTube is so much different than Facebook.
What do you think, the hashtags? Do you think that's what's...
Oh, no. It's a whole process. So what I do is I research the title first, make sure that people are actually searching that. Then I create a video based off of that. So if I do a beautifully executed video, but no one is searching it, no one's going to see it.
That's true.
So I could put it on social media, short form social media like Facebook, Instagram. But those are like my sphere is what we call them. They're people that already know me, or, we're friends, or maybe just acquaintances. They aren't necessarily looking to buy a house, sell a house, or any real estate related anything.
Yeah.
They're probably just on those short form content platforms to waste time in between doing XYZ. So you're not capturing the right people that way. I mean, you could be, and that's actually, Facebook is how I get most of my business right now. But there's a lot of other things that come about that's time sucks, or time wasters, if you will. So I've pivoted, and now I'm researching the titles on YouTube, and then doing the videos. And then there's even an algorithm of your call to action needs to be the very first thing, because you could have a 15-minute video. How many people are watching for a solid 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Some people might fall off after 2 or 8. And so if you wait until the end to have your call to action,
it's too long.
Nobody's going to know what was supposed to happen. So there's a little bit of an algorithm with that too.
Okay.
So I'm not going to share all my secrets though.
Yeah. No,
So.
it's good stuff though. I mean, we've always just sent our titles as like we've never but that's the thing.
We do that with Happy Friday.
Yeah,
though.
there's more than one way to do it.
Happy
Totally.
Friday. We have episode titles.
Well, yeah, and it all depends on what your goals are. So my goal for that specific method is to find people that are moving to Colorado that are or already living here, and they're going to search best places to live in Denver, best places to live for young professionals, free things to do in Colorado. Should I go to Highlands Ranch or Castle Rock? So you just have got to be creative, because as I mentioned earlier, I'm doing 2 videos a week. That's a lot to research the title, to research the content,
And what it's like,
then film.
2-3 minutes of video, like what?
Oh, no,
What's your target goal?
12, 15 minutes.
Okay.
So-
I mean, that's still pretty quick content, though, if you think about
That's
it.
pretty juicy, though.
Yeah.
I mean-
And you could get a lot in there.
So I'm adding in B-roll. So I'm doing drone footage. I have a drone. I have my whole pack in my car, which shouldn't be in my car. I should bring it with me no matter what.
Yeah.
But I'm doing B-roll of aerial views of different neighborhoods, and it's not just house specific, but it's like, this is Elitch Gardens. We have a roller coaster theme park, whatever you want to call it, right downtown Denver. And some cities don't have that. So it's showcasing to people that don't necessarily live here, here are things to do in the Highlands or top restaurants to go to. But I'm going to try to provide some sort of value because I already know that those people are searching that. And then this thing, and you guys could do it too, it's called Tube Buddy. So YouTube, Tube Buddy. And
We've worked with them.
Oh, you have? Okay,
Yep.
cool. So yeah, it has a little barometer scale. I don't know, what do you call that thing where it goes like from yellow or red to green?
They've got a barometer, I guess.
Okay,
We're
so
talking
A dial?
We're talking weather terms now, yeah.
yeah, you and your weatherman stuff. But it'll tell you if it's a good video to do if it's in the green,
Yeah.
based off of how many people have recorded this similar title, what your competition is like. That's what I was trying to go for.
Okay.
And so if you do a video on six-pack abs, there's millions of videos on how to get six-pack abs. Your competition is steep.
Yeah.
No one's going to see your
Saturated,
content.
yeah.
It's completely saturated. So it takes into account 3 different kind of topics, if you will, and then tells you if it's a good video to make or not. So
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, they do that for us a little bit too. Like when we're looking at our tags, it'll kind of like say where that tag might be ranking in the current algorithm. But I mean, we've been fighting with YouTube for a minute. They don't listen to us.
Oh, what do you mean?
They're just look. It's a Google-owned company, and maybe we're being too real. Some people have said. I don't really know the answer.
No, we're being too real, and we're gonna keep showing up until you boot us from the entire thing. All right, you haven't even given us one full strike. We've gotten only one warning, and still comments have not returned. YouTube, that was years ago. We have no idea what's going on with that, but
It's nonsense.
We support your platform.
Yeah.
It's nonsense. We promote you guys every single week. Watch on YouTube. We drive traffic there.
Yeah.
I think we're at like, I don't know, a little over 11,000 subscribers.
Oh,
Like,
sweet.
We're adding some value to the YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, even though, some folks like listen to us on Spotify, and we
Yeah.
appreciate that.
I mean, just listen to the stuff Katie's dropping right now. I mean, this is some real shit.
it's epic.
Got some nuggets of information.
Yeah.
But so I want to find people organically. You guys have a fantastic following at 11,000. So what I cannot do is I cannot share my link to people because I want to find people organically. That's my goal. But you guys have a great following. So I mean, you could even send out weekly emails of like, hey, just drop the video, check it out here, and then link it to your YouTube because we don't have the same goals essentially. So unless you want to try to get to millions, but that's probably a goal of yours actually.
I mean, just keep growing.
Oh, it's obtainable.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not if, but when, right? Yeah, no, and look, there's a lot of different approaches. So like social media, which I shit on all the time, and I encourage.
It's important for business.
I encourage the 24-hour no phone challenge, which was fantastic. I was able to accomplish it. It was difficult.
It's
okay.
not easy.
It put me back in check. Like if I can't go a day without looking at my fucking phone, I need to tighten up.
Yeah.
Right. So I was able to accomplish that. We talked about that a few weeks ago. Social media, obviously, we use it to our advantage. It's great because it brings that personal, that personal touch to it. It's not just a business transaction. Now you get to know the person you're working with a little bit. You get to see a different side of them. Maybe they're drinking a beer. Maybe they're having an appetizer.
They're a person.
They're a person.
Yeah.
And so I think that's great what you're doing. Also kind of building the way you work with your clients and so forth, of saying, hey, this is motivational Monday. I like this person. I can relate. There's already a connection before you even maybe interact.
Yeah.
And I think that's the value that social media can bring.
Yeah.
So there's a statistic that said 83% of people are more comfortable with somebody that does video content versus who doesn't.
Phone only. Or,
So people can see, and I actually have a fun thing. I'm glad that you kind of brought that up. People can see that you're a person, you have a personality, and because people do business with people that they know, like, and trust.
It can relate to it a little bit, right?
Yes. So have you heard of a parasocial relationship?
Parasocial relationship.
I haven't.
Okay, so favorite celebrity, and don't be doing like Wonder Years or whatever that I've never heard of before. So favorite celebrity.
Hey now. My favorite celebrity, Shit, I hate these type of questions.
Okay, a celebrity.
I
you
might.
like.
I'm gonna think Keanu Reeves immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Matrix. He's been in some rom-coms, things like that. His life story. He sees you, or you meet him on the street. He doesn't know a shit about you at all. But you know everything about him. It's a one-sided relationship.
Yeah.
And so it's called a parasocial relationship.
Okay.
So what I'm doing is I have 3,600 friends on Facebook. I maybe know 1,800 of them or know of them. But I accept friend requests, and I always send them a message because the algorithm for Facebook, and like secrets out, but the algorithm for Facebook is like, oh, they like each other. And so as long as I'm consistent in anything I do, my stories, my posts are going to populate at that person's at the top of their list because Facebook is like, oh, they're friends. And so it's a little bit of a strategy, but also non-selfishly, if you will, I want to get to know people because like creating an experience for somebody or being with them during one of the biggest purchases of their life, that means something to me. I'm getting chills from that. Like, that's why I'm in this business. It's not because I'm trying to make the most money possible. Like, I want to make an experience for somebody. And somebody corrected me when I said experience because they're like, oh, I need a shark. And I'm like, okay, well, I find out what you need, and I am that for you. If you need a shark, I will be a shark. But regardless, I want to help you. And that, to me, that's so fulfilling to be in this industry. But anyway, so the parasocial relationship, I can't talk to 3,600 people, even in a week. And so I'm trying to put myself out there as a trusted individual. I'm providing value. And then in hopes that whenever somebody's ready or they know somebody, then they'll send them my way because they already have that trust. And that's a smart tactic. And look, it got you on a podcast. Got me on a podcast.
Yeah.
That was a great breakdown.
Thank you. Yeah. So
I hadn't heard it worded that way before, and it makes sense because we're essentially saying the same things. It's I didn't know the verbiage. Parasocial relationship.
Yep, exactly. So I met with an agent that he's been struggling a little bit. He's been in the business for 17 years, and he knows his shit. He really does. But he's had a really hard relationship that she's super negative, weighs him down, and he's like, I don't feel like myself anymore. I've lost who I am, and I'm not confident, but he was. And he's like, watching your content, it brings me more confidence. And I decided to meet with him. I don't normally meet with agents because it's like, how is this going to
benefit or,
Yeah, and there's only so much of me to give, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be egotistical, but being realistic. I want to get more business. I want to make more experiences or more I want to help more people, essentially. And
look, I think experience is a fine word to use when selling houses. Like, get out of here, whoever's telling.
Okay, well, thanks.
Yeah.
So
it is an experience. A lot of people don't even go through it.
Yeah, it's so cool to say at the end of the day, like you have all this equity built in a home and whatnot, and you're building wealth for your future family or whatnot. I just think that's pretty badass. But
so my pops is into real estate. We have a lot of doors that we like rent and stuff.
Yeah. That's my goal.
And that's always been. When you buy property, it's the best investment you can ever make.
Yeah.
Like cars depreciate, everything, like you just throw money into rent and you never get that back. Like, so it's tried and true. It's like it's the most old school and foundation way to actually, but you have to have that capital and to get into it and then maintain a house. Like there's a lot of work, and if you don't know how to maintain a house by yourself, then you're going to be going out of pocket to pay for handymen to come in. So there's a bunch of layers.
Yeah. And honestly, it's worth a conversation. If anyone is interested in you can hire a property manager. You do have to pay them a fee, but at the end of the day, like even if you don't have a renter, you could sell the house and you still have that equity built up that somebody else has paid for. And so there's definitely ways around it. And a lot of people potentially, they haven't visited that option. Like they have that idea in their mind, but it is a scary thing. It's a lot of money. There's a lot of responsibility to it, but it doesn't have to be as scary if someone can kind of break down the process for you.
Well, and this is a whole theme of life for me in my mid 30s is that it shouldn't be easy, right? Like whatever you're trying to go after, it should kind of intimidate you a little bit. Like, am I capable? Well, let's pull up by the bootstraps and see if I actually can. And then once you achieve that, that feeling of overcoming what you didn't know what was possible or not before is an amazing place. It's an amazing place to be.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, if you don't know, like the unknown is a scary place, but if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And so
The cliches are all true.
Right?
All the cliches are true. So
and sometimes they rhyme. You've said a couple that
they
rhyme.
do.
Yep. And I was actually you just stole the words out of my mouth. I was going to use that one. If it were easy, everyone would do it.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's so true. It's so true. Look, the long, cold, hard road that Art talks about, difficult roads lead to beautiful destinations. Let's get after it.
So you've given the listeners a lot of gems, and also Kevin and I, you've given us a lot of gems too,
Yeah,
to think
thanks.
about tonight. We like to ask every single one of our guests an important question.
Uh-oh.
And the question is that if you could give humanity a piece of advice so that everybody could be better tomorrow, what would that one piece of advice be?
Well, I said this earlier. I just got goosebumps again. So I was talking with a client yesterday, and he doesn't want to live a life of regret. And it's on the top of my mind, and it's how I live my life of just, I don't want that woulda, coulda, shoulda circulating in my brain. And so do the thing, or explore your options. But we have one life, and we should use it. We should enjoy it. We should fulfill it. And one thing that you mentioned earlier too is the 9-to-5 job. And I think I actually put it on one of my motivational Mondays, and it was, I never want to clock in and clock out. Like, I get some people on Facebook Messenger that are messaging me, and they're like, hey, what are you up to? And I'm like, what do you mean I'm working? Like, what are you doing? They're like, oh, I'm at work. I'm just bored. And I'm like, what are you doing with your time? Like, I know you're getting a paycheck, but you're not even enjoying it. Like, my brain doesn't understand that anymore.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, rip off the Band-Aid and just do the thing
the
that's
risk.
Yeah, or else, and for me personally, if I have one thought and it just keeps pinging in my mind, those couple seconds, even if it's just a split second over and over again throughout the day or week or month or whatnot, it's taking up space in my head that could be filled with something else of me making a difference in some other way. And so just do the thing, be done with it, or enjoy it at least. Hopefully, if it's something enjoyable, but
or fail a couple times while you're trying. Like if you're so to encapsulate your advice, which is great, is take the risk, do something that you enjoy that is meaningful, but also if it's something that you really want to accomplish, and sometimes you have to fail at it. Like my learning curve is extremely longer than most people, so I have to fail a lot more than a lot of people have to in order to get to the same place. But there's something about that strength of continuing through adversity and continuing through self-doubt. That's the biggest one, because we're always going to tell ourselves, oh, like, we don't have to do that. That's too difficult, or you're not capable of handling that. And you need to shut that person the F up.
Well, and it's also, and I wanted to say this a little bit earlier, but surround yourself with the people that you want to be like. It really, truly matters. Like the agent I was talking about that I met with, he's around somebody that's so negative. He's like, I don't feel like myself anymore. If he can just get her out, he did for like 2 weeks. She's on vacation or whatever she's doing. He had weight lifted off of his shoulders, and he could physically feel better. And it goes in the same thing. If you don't have a relationship that you're benefiting from, but maybe they're just there because it's comfortable, or just that's what you've known, that's not a healthy environment for you or for them. Like, no, you need to get around the people that are going to uplift you. And I truly believe that. It's I'm not a huge kind of manifestation person, I do have a gratitude kind of journal. It's just 3 things, and it cannot be weather related, because that's a cop out in my opinion. Okay. Oh, the sun's out today. Yeah, okay, dig a little deeper, find something else that's really valuable.
What if it's gratitude for going on a walk when it's 10 degrees?
Great, but you can't use that like
the weather
for the next couple months.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you can, but it should be, in my opinion, it should be a challenge to push yourself to be more grateful for.
So what were your 3 things yesterday that you were grateful for?
I have to get back in the groove of
Yesterday?
it.
Yeah.
Today? Yesterday?
Well, because she hasn't had her full day yet today, so we don't know.
I did it 3 days ago. I think I actually brought up you guys of like being on a podcast, because it's just like, it's such a huge honor. And like, I know that I'm following in this gal's footsteps, Stevie Hunt. She's responded to me via Instagram a couple times. She has no idea who really I am, though.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm not good with names at all, but I know her first and last name. I follow her on her stories. I pick up tidbits from her, and then I apply it. And but she's meant so much to me. So it's just so cool to actually be on a podcast because of her and the route that she went. And I decided that is the route for me. That's a strength that I can follow too. So podcasting, I think I may have said something about my family. My parents are in St. Martin right now. They're on vacation. And my dad will drop everything so that, well, like when I call.
Yeah.
And he helped me renovate my house. And that's a whole nother topic we could get into. I don't know how we're doing on time, but he actually came out for 2 weeks and helped me. I had a wall taken down and he helped me put up another wall. We worked on electrical. I can do a light switch and a electrical outlet. We put in all sorts of different things and wired.
You did the dimming lights, right?
Yep. A dimmer switch isn't very hard at all.
No, I had a feeling though that you would go all the way. So
I built my own fence.
Yeah.
Like I did my own fence in my backyard.
Oh, so you're a caisson digger.
What? I don't know. What is a caisson?
No, the caisson is where the where you fill in the concrete and the post goes in it.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
did that myself. So the only thing I needed help with, because, you dig 2 feet. It's not hard. You just need to YouTube how to do it.
Yeah.
You dig 2 feet down, you put the post in, and then there's Quickcrete. So you put the powder in, and then you add the water. You have to make sure that the post is level, check it after a little while. What I did have help with is putting the pickets up, because the posts, the 4x4s, they were over 6 feet apart. And it's like, I need...
Everything's easier with two people. Most things.
Yeah, and
Most things.
I'm the type of person, if I need help, I will ask for it. But if you just offer it, I'll probably say no, because it's like, no, it's a challenge. I want to do it myself, and then I'll be more proud of myself, type of thing.
You could have done with clamps.
With 4x4s?
Yeah, you clamp it onto the other.
So I had the hand squeezy clamps that they only open this far.
Hand
Okay.
squeezy clamps.
Yeah, those aren't.
I don't know terms, but I know what they do. I have a miter saw, I have I have all sorts of different things. I do not have a bandsaw, but I have chop saw. I have all the things.
Compound miter box saw.
Absolutely, whatever that is, I have. Sure.
Yes.
I have a tool shed for a reason, but totally do-it-yourself type of gal. But anyway, so my dad came out, and this was the end of February of 2020, and he came out for 2 weeks and helped me with all of this construction and whatnot. I tiled and grout myself, trying to think of what else I did, but regardless.
But it's more satisfying when you do that
It feels so good.
Because then, when you're looking at the work, because ultimately with construction, it has to be, when you look at it, you don't notice anything. That's how you know it's done right, is you don't notice anything.
Yep.
And when you're sitting there and you're looking at your own work and you don't notice anything, you kind of get like this feeling of like, oh yeah, I crushed that.
Yes, and
It's a good feeling.
So my dad left on March 5th to go back home to Minnesota, and he had driven out, and he was driving back, and he stayed. My mom made him stay and somewhere in Nebraska, so he wasn't like exhausted driving 13 hours or so in one day. And so he stayed overnight, and I call her on the 6th. That's her birthday, is March 6th. And I say, hey, are you really excited that Dad's going to be home today? And she goes, yeah, I am. This is actually the longest we've ever been apart. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, I took him from you? Like, I am so sorry. They've been married 36, 37 years. 2 weeks was the longest they've ever been apart. And I was like, I am so sorry. She's like, no. He loves this stuff, helping you and your brother. Like, he absolutely loves it. He wouldn't, he'd kill to do that for you guys. So that meant the world to me. And then I wrote him, so Father's Day is in June.
It is.
Right? Yeah. So I made him a little handmade card. And you know how ties are really popular for Father's Day? Well, I did little hammers. So I did 3 little hammers. And I wrote a really good message in there. And I mailed it to him. Well, this is, so March 6, 2020, COVID hit a week later.
Yeah.
And then the whole world shut down, right? Including the post office. And so I mail it thinking it's going to be there in 4 days. 2.5 weeks later, it's still not there. And I'm like, it's lost in the mail. I don't even remember what the message said. Finally, he called, he left a voicemail for whatever, I didn't answer for whatever reason. And I listened to it, and he's choking up because I said, you're my go-to. Any problem that I have, I call you. And he's choking up. I've only seen him cry once, and that was when we had to put our dog down. But he cried at my message, and that just, I don't know, it just meant the world. But anyway, I'll ask for help if I need it.
Yeah.
And I'll probably be asking my dad first.
Oh, for sure.
But, yeah.
I mean, Pops, that's the rock. That's the
Yeah.
immovable mountain. That's the go-to. Daddy's
So
girl.
I've learned everything that I know from him. But we were on gratitude journal, and
no, that's a good habit to be in. Like being grateful and being aware of what you can be grateful for.
Yeah.
the more that you can do that throughout your, and look, I like to do 3 things I'm grateful for, and then 2 things I could have improved on.
Okay.
And one thing that keeps popping up on my improve on is alcohol consumption. Like I keep failing with that. It's not like I'm still losing weight and like doing all these. I'm succeeding in other areas, but it's good to have those honest moments. Like, sure, I could be grateful about so many things, but where can I truly improve? Where can I be critical with myself to help myself grow the next day?
What are your alcohol goals?
I mean,
or not goals?
I would like to drink half as much.
Okay.
So basically, I drink every day right now, and it's a significant amount compared to what most people are able to consume and feel good the next day. Like, I never feel hungover. But to cut that all in half would be beneficial in more than one way.
Sure.
Right?
Have you tried? Well, we talked about edibles a little bit, and you've done edibles, and is that like a similar feeling that you enjoy, or?
I mean, marijuana. Me and Bob Marley, we've been dancing for so long. Like that's a dance move that I know every step to.
Sure.
You know, but with alcohol, like it's kind of like, you know, it can get fun and it's easy to like I'll have one more. So like, kudos for your self-discipline and turning down that margarita on your girls' night, because it'd be tough for me. It'd be tough if like all my boys were hanging out and I was like, all right, Kevin's trying to convince me to have a beer, you know. So I don't know.
Kevin.
He doesn't do that though.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
It depends how drunk Kevin has gotten, because then all of a sudden you'll start to like, you know, we need to, and then I'm like. And then you're like,
so, yeah, sometimes we can get a little sideways, as Dirk Bentley would say. No question about it. We like to have a couple beers on the air. But yeah, I would agree with you there. That's probably one of the areas that I'm going to focus on. Everybody knows. I mean, I made a commitment when I'm 35, I will be sober, so that's one more year.
Okay.
I mean, I set that goal back when I was 27.
Sure. What made you set that goal?
I have a long line of alcoholism in my bloodline.
Yeah.
And it just, health-wise and just knowing myself, I know it is an obtainable goal that I will accomplish. And, you know, someone said I already found a loophole around it. Well, I'll be sober for while I'm 35. We'll see what happens when I'm 36.
Okay.
Right. So at least taking a year off of booze, that's a guarantee.
I'll support you, Kev.
I'll probably rely heavily on the Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Kava? There's a Kava bar in, I believe it's Capitol Hill. And I've been to it, and it's like a, someone's going to correct me. It's like a root or dirt. It tastes like dirt. It tastes like absolute shit. But it's an alternative to alcohol, and it gives you a little bit of a high.
What about like kombucha?
Kombucha that's like 1.5% alcohol. That's like nothing.
Right.
Yeah. This is different. Like you can have 1 or 2 of these, and you feel a buzz.
Have you tasted it?
I've had it before, and they give you the little baby coffee creamers, like the International Delight ones, to sweeten it up. Well, the sweetened ones.
Oh, okay.
So International Delight specifically. Moo-moos are just half and half.
The moo-moos are half and half?
Yeah. Okay. They're not. They're just, it's milk. It's cream.
They nailed that name, by the way.
Moo-moo.
Yeah. The moo-moos.
I think of the giant dress with moo-moos. The ones.
The moo-moo, like a gurney.
And you can fit children underneath it. What? I don't know why. Like Mother Goose. Or is that what that nursery rhyme where she fits?
Mother Goose, yeah.
Is that what it is? She fits children under a dress? I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know that one. So the point that we're making here is that it's super important to, you know, take the risks, go after big goals that are challenging. You can fail along the way, like that's okay. Be grateful as well, but then also be humble and honest with yourself on where you can improve.
Yeah, and surround yourself by great people and obviously family as well.
Yeah,
you know?
it's tricky to do, but I've lost a lot of friends. They're not dead. They just decided to.
You chopped the block.
And sometimes it wasn't me that was doing it, but I truly believe everything happens for a reason.
I agree with that.
And there are so many things that I've gone through, or just I know people go through in general, and when you're in the thick of it, it's like, this fucking sucks. Like, this is so hard. And there's a reason for that, though. And you just have to, you know, try to see the light at the end of the tunnel. What lesson am I learning right now? And I've been through some gnarly shit, actually house-related. I had a crack in my foundation in my basement. And it was the hardest thing I've ever dealt with. And I tried a lawsuit. My entire story is on my TikTok, which is the same handle as my Instagram. But I told my story, and I actually have a following from that. The most views I have is like $460,000. The one after that's $280,000. Like, I actually had some people commenting on my real estate related post, not basement, and they're like, "Hey, just waiting for an update on your basement." And I'm just like, "Oh, okay."
They're like trying to get in. Yeah.
And so, but anyway,
do you want to give everybody an update on your basement?
It's fixed. It's fixed. So,
Okay, nice.
Real quick story. So December 2019, I purchased my home. The day of closing, I found a crack in the foundation. I didn't know what I was doing because I wasn't an agent when I did this. I was completely in the dark. And, I mean, we went through inspection. I hired an inspector that was known nationally. The name was known nationally. And they missed so many indications on the outside of the house as well as the interior. And so anyway, I get to the house 2 hours after closing, and there's a crack in a ledge in the basement. And I'm like, that's odd. Well, I had an electrician come out same day for a different reason. And I was like, hey, can you look at this? Like, I don't know what's going on. And he's like, you need to take this wall off and see what's behind it. Took the wall down, and there was a skim coat of concrete against dirt, no reinforcement. In one of the areas, it was 1 inch thick. In most of the areas, it was 3 inches thick. Of no reinforcement. So the basement was 100 square feet, and they dug it out to be 600 square feet to have a basement, but they did it the least costly way possible.
Did they even pull permits? I mean, this is a long, Then
they put up sheetrock in front of it, and so I get a lot of TikToker people, armchair experts is the term.
Oh yeah.
And they say, well, the inspector doesn't have x-ray vision to see through walls. And I was like, no, but look at the indications on the outside of the house. And you can watch my TikTok to find out those things, but, or I can talk offline, whatever. But anyway, it's, he missed it. And so I just, after 3 years of owning the home, it just got finished on Thanksgiving. This last year.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I mean, you still, even though it was months ago, you still have this huge sigh of relief.
Oh my gosh, it's so so they put Sistar walls, 8-inch Sistar walls with rebar in front of the existing walls, and I unfortunately had to pay for it out of pocket. Hired a shit attorney. She was a friend, not a friend anymore, obviously. She dropped the ball, missed his statute of limitations, and
so sorry, boo boo.
What a mess.
But I turned this around. Like I said, I couldn't talk. I literally physically couldn't talk about it because I'd start to cry. And I'm not a big crier. And so I was like, you know what? I want to help people with the burden that I've been given. There's a reason this is happening. Yeah. And so I turned the TikTok videos into, hey, here are indications that you should look for if you're looking for a house. This is why you disclose. This is my journey, and it's making me a better agent because I got my my license a year after.
Because you got your teeth kicked in a little bit, and got to learn the repercussions of not paying attention to this stuff. Right. So you mentioned your TikTok. What is that handle? And so they could find you on Instagram and everywhere else too.
Instagram and TikTok is Katie_real estate gal, GAL. So those are the handles. And then my Facebook is the same. Facebook has that limit though, which sucks for friends. So I have 3,600. Once you get to 5,000, you can't add any more friends unless you delete people. So people can follow. Yeah. But so that's the tricky part about Facebook. But I do make sure that anything I post on Instagram is also going to Facebook and vice versa. Yeah. So you won't miss anything.
Well, I personally don't. I know some real estate people, but they've retired because they were my dad's folks. I have not purchased a house. When it comes time to do my first home purchase, which it will happen at some point, I'll definitely go through you.
Thanks.
Everybody listening, definitely check out Katie. She's awesome energy. She obviously cares about the experience that you have, and it's fantastic to sit across the table with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, fun podcast for sure. This one flew by. I mean, I can't believe we're at the timestamp that we're at. We're going to include all of your socials down in the show notes down below, so just scroll down, guys, get in touch with Katie, have some fun. We're going to get you back on the program, too, like we talked about.
Yeah, this was amazing. I haven't done it. I was so nervous because it's like, what if I just blank out? And it didn't happen. So
you're a professional.
Thank you.
You're a professional. And
crushed it, killed it. Doing it.
Nailed it.
Bullseye.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you this, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow on Happy Friday. Denver, be good to yourselves.
You deserve it.